Good morning and welcome to day 2 of Chefs Making Waves here on the Norwegian Pearl with 6th Man. As you can see behind me, pleasant weather today here in the Bahamas. Looking forward to today.
Today we're super excited because it's a full day at sea, which means there's going to be a lot of chef activities on board the ship. Some chefs are hosting games and activities, others are doing cooking demonstrations, and of course there's the daily curated meals. So let's get going and have some fun. Priority 1 after last night's disco party, coffee. We slept in today, so we missed Buddy Valestro's cake demonstration, but we're heading up now to the pool deck to see Aaron Sanchez. And as we mentioned in our last video, most of the chef demonstrations happen here on the pool deck, and as you can see, it's pretty crowded. It can also be very hot, so because there's not a lot of shade up here, you'll want to definitely be sure to bring your sunscreen. After watching Aaron, we were able to say hi and snap a photo, and then we headed to the Garden Cafe for our first feeding featuring the now 2-time TOC champion Manit Chauhan, as well as Anna Kinkoses and Alex Meyer. And we'll share a special story about our interaction with Manit in a few, but for now, let's talk about the food. We enjoyed arroz con pollo from Chef Anna. It had peppers, peas, a very creamy sauce. It was flavorful but not spicy, a perfect Cuban dish. Chef Manit had a classic chicken tikka masala over saffron rice. Loved the rice, but the chicken was a little dry because we had the last of the dish that was out. The flavor was great though. And last, we had tuna stuffed peppers with basil pesto from Chef Alex Meyer. All in all, a very tasty lunch. After lunch, we were able to sit in on a taping of a brand new podcast called Feast in Harmony, featuring Anna Kinkoses and Manit Chauhan.
Okay, first of all, how is the cruise, guys? So incredible, right? Okay, I'm going to start off by saying that this is my favorite cruise yet. Also, let's put it in, this is my first cruise, so...
It was so inspiring to hear these two women talk about their journey as female chefs, and Manit just exudes joy. You can't help but smile when you listen to her speak. After the podcast, it was back out to the pool deck for a Global Grubs demo with Marcus Samuelson and Andrew Zimmer.
And you forget about it at the beginning. You added it at the end. You know how that is. Yes. But
once again, it was definitely crowded, and I think the people listening from the pool had the right idea. And when it was over, we had another great opportunity to meet the chefs, although we did have to wait about 30 minutes in line for this one. Still, it was worth it, and the chefs were very friendly and easy to talk to.
Hey, we're here about midday, day 2. Had a very exciting day so far. Joyce, do you want to say who you met today?
Yeah, well, we met several of the chefs today, but I did get to meet my favorite chef, Manit Chauhan, and we're wearing her shirts from her new Disney Springs restaurant, Eat. And it was just a really fun experience because I happened to run into her in the elevator bank, and she saw our shirts and she was super excited, so we talked about our restaurant. She even had her photographer guy take some photos of us in the shirts, so for her Instagram page, so that was really cool.
Got to meet Chef Marcus Samuelson, who actually I really appreciate, love. Wish we would have had a little bit more time to meet him, but we at least got a photo and an autograph, so that was fun as well.
Yeah, there was a super long line to meet him after he did his demonstration, and so we were just like inching the way up, and we were probably in line for half an hour, and they told us there'd be 3 minutes before they'd cut it off, so we're like, oh, come on. We were like cheering on the people in front of us, like, hurry up, take the picture, let's go. And we were fortunate enough to get up there and get his autograph and meet him, so that was a really cool experience. It's been a super fun day. Like, I love this whole experience. We'll say the pool area, which is where all the kind of festival activities are taking place, is packed. Like, everybody's there. Of course they should be, right? Everyone's paying for this cruise. They want to meet the chefs and do all the things. So.
2,000 plus people being at the same place at the same time on a ship.
A lot.
I'm surprised we didn't like tip one way or the other.
I know, right? Yeah, I don't understand how these festival crews hold like all those people in one spot, but it's been a super fun day. It's gorgeous out here today. We're just kind of circling around the Bahamas right now. We have some off-ship adventures the next couple of days. We're going to take a little break and we're going to hang out in the pool. And Scott Conant is going to do a demonstration later called Imagine the Possibilities. So we'll get to see him and then go to dinner.
Super excited. We'll see you there. So for Scott's demonstration, we grabbed some drinks and then hopped in the pool, which definitely was the way to go. But after a long day of chef demos and activities, it's time for the best part, dinner. I'm gonna make gnocchi. We got gnocchi. Dinner for night 2 is curated by Amberelle and Aaron Sanchez, and this is the night we realized we weren't on a Chefs Making Waves cruise, but we were on a Chefs Making Short Ribs cruise. We'll explain more in a minute. But we started the meal with a refreshing wilted romaine salad featuring roasted pears, tallagio, and hazelnuts.
The next course was a Mexican shrimp and grits from Chef Aron, and it was spicy. I didn't eat the shrimp, but I did enjoy the fried grits. I thought it could have used a crema of some sort as a relief from the heat, but it definitely had a great flavor.
The main course was braised short ribs with horseradish and mashed potatoes from Anne Burrell. We thought it was funny that we had short ribs 2 nights in a row, so we started making a contest, and Chef Burrell's won. It reminds you of a good Sunday pot roast, but in a good way. Very flavorful, well seasoned, and the ribs were super tender.
And for dessert, we had a Mexican chocolate molten cake from Aron Sanchez. There was just enough cayenne in the chocolate sauce to give you a nice heat without burning your mouth, and you can never go wrong with the vanilla ice cream in my opinion. But the only negative was that it didn't have that oozy middle like you usually get in the molten cake, so I thought it was maybe a little bit overcooked, but still it was a very delicious dessert. We ended this night with Robert Irvine's Culinary Chaos, and oh my goodness, was it chaotic. I tried to explain it, but well, just watch for yourself.
At the start of the challenge, 2 volunteers will create an awe-inspiring mess of the dish for 2 minutes. Robert will have to use his culinary skill to finish a dish that doesn't suck.
So for 2 minutes, Chef Irvine was blindfolded and listening to AC/DC so he couldn't hear what was going on. But when he was allowed to check out what he had to work with, just see his response.
It's not even hot. My God, it's like mushrooms. What is it? And I hate you both.
But then he went to work for 15 minutes and turned chaos into a pretty decent dish. It was actually amazing to watch a pro chef make a great dish out of something that started out, quite honestly, as garbage.
I don't need your 15, 12 minutes, there it is.
That wasn't the end though. They did a second cooking challenge against Chef Anna Kinkoses that started out as a normal challenge, but ended up with a hilarious twist.
Take the top off that, take the top off that, take the blade out, take the blade out.
As you can see, they handcuffed Chef Irvine around a pre-selected audience volunteer who actually turned out to be someone who helped on the show Restaurant Impossible. And I don't think I ever laughed harder on the whole cruise than this moment. It was absolutely hysterical to see the two of them try to cook while they were handcuffed, and I am amazed that they were able to produce anything on the plate. It was very cool to see.
Taking this, and we're taking this. Let's go. 3. So, here's what I need to do. Move that away, move that away, move it away.
And after the show, we headed up to O'Sheehan's, which is the Irish theme bar on the ship that is open 24/7, had a few late night bites, and then headed off to bed to rest up for day 3's adventure on Great Stirrup Cay. Good morning, friends. It's day 3 here on our Chefs Making Waves cruise. Today we're at Norwegian's private island, and we're going to be visiting Great Stirrup Cay. We've never been here before, so super excited to get off the ship and check it out. So Great Stirrup Cay is Norwegian's private island, and you will have to board a tender boat to get there. Before boarding, we had to stop by the pool deck and grab a towel because they don't have towels on island, and we also had to pick up tender tickets and then wait for our number to be called. Once the number was called, we headed down to the gangway on deck 4. It wasn't hard to find, but they didn't have a lot of signage or staff helping direct. Not a big deal, it was just something that we noticed that was different from prior cruises that we'd been on. We also never actually had to show anyone our tickets, so I guess it was just an honor system thing to help control the congestion at the gangway. Once on board though, it was just a quick 5 to 10 minute ride over to the island. So the island itself is located about 140 miles east of Miami and about 60 miles north of Nassau, so it's a pretty close port of call for your cruises departing from Florida. The island is about 2 miles long and is run solely by Norwegian cruise lines. So of all the private islands that we've cruised to, we thought this one had the least amount of things to do, but you can never go wrong relaxing on beautiful white sand with gorgeous blue water around you. But for activities, they did have a sand volleyball court set up and a few cornhole bag toss games here and there. For an additional fee, you could also rent cabanas, kayaks, paddleboards, jet skis, things like that. And there was also a big zip line that went across the island. This looked like a lot of fun too. But we chose to simply get a floating mat for $22 and relax in the water and do some snorkeling.
And there's Miss Joyce.
Hey! Great day at Stirrup Cay!
The world famous travelers of Adventures with Joyce and Matt.
This water is cold. Now we brought our own snorkel gear, but there was a place on the island where you could rent gear as well. Prices looked to be around $35 for adults and maybe $19 for children. Now a big perk of this cruise was that everyone on board had the premium drink package. So that meant we could enjoy drinks all day from the Bacardi bar or the Patron bar that was on island for no additional charge. Now let's talk about dining. So this day was a little confusing in my opinion. There was a beachside barbecue, which featured food from Mark Murphy and Andrew Zimmern. We initially thought that the chef options were going to be available in the tents that we saw being set up in the mid-island area, but what we soon realized was that that area was only for the grilled chicken, and then you had to walk around to other areas of the island if you wanted to sample the other dishes. This was fine, but there wasn't a lot of signs or staff around to kind of help explain how it worked. So we found ourselves mostly asking other guests where they found all of the chef-curated dishes. And because of the design of the island, that meant we had to do a lot of walking back and forth to each station, which again, not a big deal normally, but there was only a 2-hour window for when they were serving the food. So we felt like it was a little fast to have to do all the walking to each station, sit down, sample the meal that was being served at that location, and then get to the other place within that window. And of course we understood why there's several dining areas on the island. It is very long and expansive, so you got to spread out some dining locations, but we thought that maybe the chef items could have been featured a little bit better, maybe more in a central location. But all in all, it was our least favorite dishes of the cruise, with the exception of Andrew Zimmern's cold cucumber soup. That one was very good. It had a lot of flavor.
After lunch, we spent a little more time taking some photos around the island and then headed back to the ship for a dip in the pool and a quick nap before dinner. Dinner for night 3 was curated by Scott Conant and Marcus Samuelson. We really loved that Sixth Man pivoted on this night and had the chefs walk through the side areas of the restaurant so we could see them as well. Prior to this, we could only barely hear them through the speakers because they were only in the main dining area. But we started this meal with a hamachi crudo escovitch and brown butter lobster from Marcus Samuelson. The hamachi crudo had some strong heat with a nice acidity from the tomato water. My piece of lobster was unfortunately slightly overcooked, but the mushroom dashi brought a nice umami to the dish.
Our main course was, you guessed it, short ribs by Scott Conant. Apparently no one double-checked all the chef's dishes this week for duplicates, and by the third night of short ribs, people were losing their mind over the lack of variety. They were still good though. They were served with a polenta that had a surprising lemon flavor, but Chef Anne's still won in my opinion. For dessert, a salted caramel budino by Scott Conant. This was super sweet and decadent with a consistency similar to a flan. It was by far the best dessert of the week for us. After dinner, we went to see a celebrity chef sing-off hosted by Anne Burrell and Andrew Zimmern. This was essentially karaoke, but the contestants were pre-selected through audition tapes, and wow, was there a lot of talent on board. This was not your standard karaoke contest.
Have you ever seen Anne Burrell meet a microphone that she didn't want to dominate?
I feel that. True story.
Winnie, come on. Talk a little bit about this beautiful crowd here. Come on.
Oh my God. Seriously, are you guys ready to party? Okay, I've got to tell you this. This is going to be the most epic party of chefs making waves.
Yep. We were trying to get fire trucks on board and fireworks. It didn't work out. But look.
Oh yeah, I was trying to savor some champagne, but they was like, we saw what you did on TOC. It's not gonna happen again.
No.
Then we ended the night with an international street food party featuring Manit Chauhan and Aron Sanchez. They don't call Manit the dancing spice queen for nothing. She can really get down, and Mark Murphy even showed up to join the party. It was a super fun evening. Okay, good morning. This is our last day, full day aboard the Norwegian Pearl and our Chefs Making Waves cruise. But for now, we are going to sign off and head on downstairs to get off the ship and go check out Nassau. So our day in the Bahamas was pretty low-key. We didn't do a lot of filming because we just wanted to enjoy the day with family, but we did take the Discover Nassau Island tour and had a fantastic tour guide, so he was a lot of fun. He took us to Fort Finn Castle where we could get out, do a little exploring, take some photos, and stretch our legs. Then we stopped at the Rum Cake Factory where we got a free shot of rum for buying some cakes. After that, we had a quick stop at Atlantis. Here we had less than a half an hour, and it was a pretty long walk from where the tours dropped off to get to Atlantis, so we actually never made it inside. So to me, they could have left the stop off the tour and I would have been just fine, maybe give us a little more time somewhere else. But one of our favorite moments of the day was when our driver taught us about Junkanoo, which is one of the Caribbean's most celebrated and spirited festivals, taking place on Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, as well as New Year's Day. And we ended the day with a surprise stop at a very beautiful beach where we were able to get out and take some photos before returning to the ship. Okay, we had a fantastic day in the Bahamas, and now it's time for Cuban nights. So I wonder what they'll have on the menu tonight.
Ooh, well, I'm hoping it's short ribs.
Ooh, short ribs. We haven't had those this week.
You know what they're not going to be serving tonight?
What's that?
Leeks.
Leeks?
Yeah, because they're never any good on a cruise ship.
I see what you did there. How about we go to Cuban night?
Ooh, let's do it.
Let's go. So the last meal of the week featured chefs Michael Simon and Mark Murphy. And while we don't know for sure, we think they made a last-minute change to serve salmon or pork instead of short ribs. And we think that because the menu paper was very different, and we also heard earlier in the week that someone did a behind-the-scenes tour, saw the menus for each night, and they all featured short ribs. But our meal started with a shrimp wedge salad by Mark Murphy. It had an absolutely delicious green goddess dressing, and Chef Mark sent around the recipe after the cruise, so if you'd like to see it, let us know in the comments. Next, we had a cavatelli pomodoro by Michael Simon. This was also very good. The sauce had a nice tomato flavor with a slight heat, and the herbed ricotta balanced it out nicely. The main course was unfortunately a bit of a miss tonight. We did like that it was the first night where we had a choice between the roasted pork or the salmon, but they weren't seasoned the greatest, and Matt thought the polenta was a little gritty. This is another reason that we thought maybe they did a last-minute menu swap, because it just wasn't as up to par as the other nights. Dessert was the battle of the budinos, with the butterscotch budino this time. This one wasn't nearly as sweet as Scott's, which I appreciated, but they were both quite delicious. Our cruise ended with Michael Simon DJing at the Silent Disco. Now, he was only able to join us for the last day of the cruise, so the Spinnaker Lounge was packed with people trying to see him. And as you can see from all of the green headphones, most people were listening to his channel, so it was a lot of fun. And throughout the night, a lot of the chefs also stopped by. We saw Manit Chauhan, Scott Conant, and Mark Murphy out on the dance floor, and we were able to finally get our photo with Anne Burrell too. It was a great way to end the week. Woo! We are back in the room after an amazing last night aboard the ship with DJ and Chef Michael Simon. He was jamming and getting down at the Silent Disco. It was a big party in there. I think everybody tried to fit into that space.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Well, to be fair, this was the first night that Michael Simon actually got on board. So I feel kind of bad for him because he was getting mobbed.
Yeah.
But yeah, super fun time.
Okay, so like all good things, this cruise must come to an end.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Okay, so quick wrap. 5 seconds. Who's your favorite chef? Go.
Ooh, Robert Irvine.
Manit Chauhan. Who's your favorite chef? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear. And have you met any of the chefs that are aboard this cruise? Let us know.
Have you been to any of their restaurants? Give us some ideas for another travel trip. We'd love to check out good food.
For sure.
So speaking of food, I did have an opportunity to speak with one of the chefs, and I asked him, hey, have you ever served a steak raw? And he said, yes, but it's rare.
It's been great sailing on the Norwegian Pearl, so fun experiencing our first 6-man festival cruise, and an amazing time with the chefs on board, so can't get any better than that.
And if you've enjoyed watching this video, please feel free to check out some of our other cruising videos or any of our other adventures that we have on our channel. Make sure to like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye. What's a good food ending? We need like a foodie quote. And thanks for sailing the high seas with us.
We'll see bash you later.
Oh my gosh. This video has officially gone off the rails. Let's get out of here. We need to pack. We have to get up early. Bye.